Hello students, welcome to Misostudy. So in the today's session, we will start a new topic which is called as a deforestation. Deforestation. Now, what is deforestation? Deforestation means conversion of a forest into a non-forest. That means a cutting of a trees. Earlier it was believed that around the whole, out of the whole surface area of the earth, 33% should be covered with the forest. If we look at the data, 40% of the forest in the tropical region, they are depleted. Similarly, this is less as compared to the temperate regions. So, why this forests are necessary? Forest gives us many products. They help in trapping of the carbon dioxide, and they make the whole surface area, whole atmosphere breathable, right? So, what is happening is that the whole balance between the environment and the organism is lost. So, let's write about the deforestation. What is deforestation? And simultaneously, I will discuss about the Indian forest policy. Deforestation means conversion of forest into deforest area. That basically means cutting of trees. Cutting of trees. Now, let's look at some data. 40% of the total is tropic region is now lost, right? 40% of total area of tropics covered with forest is converted into barren land. Converted into barren land. The same data as per the temperate is slightly different. That means only around 1% have been lost for temperate region. Right? So, this is in whole data. In fact, when we look at the original data, this suggests that earlier, before this century, or this was the starting of this century, the whole surface area of earth, that is around 33% around, that is covered with the forest. Now, this value has been reduced to 19.4%. At the beginning of century. Now, which century I am mentioning over here? 20th century. The surface of earth. Surface of earth, I am talking about India only, right? 30% of the land has forest. 30% of that land has forest. Now this value has reduced to 19.4%. So at the end of century, it has reduced to 19.4%. 19.4%. Now, let's look at the whole data. Let's look at the forest policy. We are discussing about the forest policy. Forest policy. According to this policy, 33% the should be of the land area. I am talking about the 33% of this is a Indian forest policy. Indian forest policy, that 33% of total land of India should be covered with forest. They should be covered with forest, right? Even this data is slightly different for the mountains area, that is around 60% of the mountain area, total mountain area of India, they should be covered with forest. For mountain area, according to the Indian forest policy, policy 60% should be covered, 60% of mountain should be covered, 60% of the mountain should be covered with forest. So we have to maintain this data, we have to reach up to this data. As per the land, they should be 33%, whereas for the mountain it should be 60%. Now we are discussing about the deforestation. Now what is the reason for deforestation? Let's talk about reasons for deforestation. Reason for deforestation. One of the major reasons for the deforestation is the conversion of an agricultural land, conversion of the forest into agricultural land. Conversion of forest into agricultural land. This is also one of the reasons, right? Another reason is that you must have heard of zoom cultivation. Zoom cultivation means movement cultivation. That means these are the practices which is done by the people or some of the tribes of the northeast. In India only, what they used to do, they used to cut trees. They cut trees, they plant there, they do agriculture over that particular place. After that, they burn that area. Later on, that area will remain like this and they move to another place for the this cultivation process. So initially, second reason is the zoom cultivation. Zoom cultivation. Zoom cultivation is a common practice for northeast states. For northeast states. For northeast states, and where people cut forest, then they burn that area. Burn area. After that, whatever ashes which is present in that area, that is used as a fertilizers. Ashes used as fertilizers. Ashes are used as a fertilizer, and later on they plant their agricultural crop. Agricultural crop. after that they leave that place once they harvest. So after harvestation, harvest, then again they burn that area, they leave that area for years. For years they leave that area so that it should regain all the nutrient component, right? So what we have learned today? We have learned today about the deforestation. What is deforestation? What about the Indian forest policy? What do you mean by this Indian forest policy, and what are the problems that we are facing because of the deforestation? The reason for the deforestation, first is a conversion of the forest into agricultural land. Second is called as a jhum cultivation, which is a common practice in the northeast states of India. Right? In that case, the people cut forest, burn that area, the ashes used as fertilizers, agricultural crop they were planted, and later on after the harvestation they again burn that area and they leave that area for years. They move to shift towards another agricultural land, they again use that land for the agriculture, and simultaneously they do the same. Due to which, what actually is happening? First of all, they cut the forest. So this is also one of the reasons for the deforestation. Nowadays, the government is trying to make certain policies so that this jhum cultivation as well as the conversion of the forest or agricultural land should be suppressed. Students, note down this. So students, these are the two reasons. First is the conversion of the forest into agricultural land, and second is a jhum cultivation. Similarly, we have third reason as well. Why we are cutting trees? We are cutting trees so that we should get a plant of the tree products like wood, etc., and different products also. So that is also one of the reasons for the deforestation. Let's write about the third reason. The third reason is cutting trees for products like wood, timber, etc. Right? So we have learnt about the three important reasons by which the deforestation occurs. So these are the mainly three reasons which you have to remember. So now let's talk about what are the different consequences of deforestation. Consequences of deforestation. Now students, tell me one thing, if deforestation occur, what will be the consequences? Obviously, we know that the plant help in fixation of the carbon dioxide. Because of the deforestation, more and more carbon dioxide will be present in the surrounding environment. Concentration of carbon dioxide in atmosphere will increase. This is one of the consequences. Now tell me one thing, if plants or certain trees they are not there, what will happen? The whole biodiversity will be disturbed, right? Those animals, those insects which act as a habitat of the different animals, etc., they will be destructing. So what will happen? The another consequences of deforestation is the habitat destruction. Another reason is disturbance in hydrological cycle. Disturbance in hydrological cycle, that means water cycle. Hydrological cycle. So can I write in bracket water cycle? Water cycle. You must have heard of one word which is called as a soil erosion. Soil erosion is the removal of the uppermost layer or the runoff of uppermost layer. Forest roots or plant roots, they help in holding the soil particles together. When these plants or trees are not there, that will help in the soil erosion. In fact, they cause soil erosion. So what will be the next consequence? Soil erosion. Now, After this, what will be the another consequences? If all the trees will be removed, that state that will come is called as a desert. So this causes desertification. 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 Right? Now we have done with the deforestation, we have done with the consequences, we have already completed the how this deforestation happens, right? Now let's talk about some of the important case studies which is already mentioned in your NCERT. Let's talk about case study of people participation in conservation of forest. Conservation of forest. In this case study, I will be dealing with some important case studies, like you must have heard of Chipko Andolan, right? This also comes under this category. Now, in this, you must have heard of one important story which is regarding a woman, right? Let's discuss about them. In 1731, there was a king of Jodhpur. So, king of Jodhpur, and Jodhpur is in Rajasthan, Jodhpur. King of Jodhpur, he said to his minister that I want to build a new palace. Then do one thing, bring some woods for the new palace. So told his minister to bring wood for new palace. New palace, right? So minister and along with the certain soldiers, they went to forest, they went to that area where Bishnoi were living. There was one woman out there, the name of that woman was Amrita Devi. Amrita Devi did not allow the cutting of trees, so she hugged that tree and doesn't allow the cutting of tree, and she said that if you want to cut the trees, first of all you have to cut my body. Soldiers did the same. As per the minister, he said that to cut the trees along with the Amrita's body. He did the same, and later on the three daughters of Amrita Devi along with the other people, along with another 200 peoples of the Bishnoi caste, they did the same, and they also sacrificed their life to protect the wildlife, to protect different plants, different forests in fact, right? So in that respect, Amrita Devi award was sanctioned, which is given to those who did an extraordinary thing for the prevention of the forest area. To bring the wood for the new palace. So Amrita Devi. Who was Amrita Devi? Amrita Devi belonged to Bishnoi. Bishnoi, right? She hugged trees and did not allow cutting. Did not allow cutting of trees. In that respect, she lost his life. Lost her life, sorry. She lost her life, and not only her, in fact 3 daughters and 200 other Bishnois, they sacrificed their life. So 3 daughters, along with 200 Bishnoi people. Bishnoi people, they sacrificed their life. Sacrificed their life. right? In that respect, one award was started, that Amrita Devi Wildlife or Amrita Devi Protection Award, Forest Protection Award. Amrita Devi Bishnoi Wildlife Forest Protection Award was started. That award was started to encourage people for their extraordinary work towards conservation of forest. Conservation of forest. Conservation of forest. Right? So this was Amrita Devi Bishnoi Forest Wild Protection Award. Right? So students, note down this. So students, so this was the first case study which is related to the protection. Actually, it is wildlife protection. This is related to the forest. This is wildlife. Right? Now, let's talk about the second case study which is related to joint forest management. Second was joint forest management, JFM. Joint forest management is that which is started by Government of India. In that respect, the government basically they works with the local community. To conserve their forest, they organize a different seminar regarding that. In respect to that, they give information to people to how to conserve the whole biodiversity, how to conserve the whole forest area. So, in terms, these community, they used to get forest products like gum, like timber, like wood, etc. and certain other plant product. So, Government of India started JFM, where forest people, they work with local communities and in turns local community, they used to get plant product. Right. So this was JFM, that is joint forest management. Let's talk about the third very important, which is called as a Chipko movement. Chipko movement. This movement was started in March 1974. March 1974 in Gopeshwar, which is there in Chamoli district. In Chamoli district. Now, in that case, the two persons, they were headed by Chandi Prasad Bhatt, and he was from Gopeshwar, and this was the first person, Chandi Prasad Bhatt. Along with that, the another person was Sundar Lal Sahuguna. Right. They both started this act. They said that we can protect the wildlife while hugging them. So what they did? Protect trees. So the local people who were there, they did the same. They start hugging together so that the other people, so that those people who were coming to cut the trees, they did not allow those communities, the people to come and cut those trees. So this was a major work which is related to Chipko movement. This was a Chandi Prasad Bhatt. He was from Gopeshwar, and he was from Siliara. Right? They showed very different kind of bravery to protect the wildlife. Right? So in that respect, we have discussed about the three type of movement. First, we have discussed about the Amrita Devi Award. Right? Second, we have discussed about the joint forest management, in which the forest officers, they work in harmony with the local communities. And third, we have discussed about the Chipko movement. Like this, we also have a reforestation policies as well. In the reforestation policies, we used to celebrate, we have to plant more and more trees. And even in that Van Mahotsav is celebrated. In that Van Mahotsav, every year, every government agencies and as every private sectors, every private companies, they have to plant different trees in the 2 months of the year. So this is a reforestation. We all know that the forest is very important. Not only they used to give a certain product, we are depending upon them for the fruits and the vegetables. Not only these, some indirect products also we used to get from the different plants. I am not discussing that because you have already studied all those things in your lower classes. Similarly, when we talk about as per the purification of the air is considered, they help in conserving, or they help in decreasing the CO2 concentration. Because we know about the respiration process, we know about the photosynthesis process, how it happens. So they help in decreasing the overall CO2 level. And we know that this CO2, when they are present above their limit, they act as a pollutant, right? They act as an air pollutant. So we have discussed all those things which is related to the deforestation. We are left with the two other topics which is related to some radioactivity, and second is the agrochemicals. So that I will continue in the next session. So students, this is a quite general topic. Hope the things are clear to you. Revise this again and again, then move towards the next session, right? So thank you so much students for watching this. We'll meet in the next session.